Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Super Black. We are your host, Carl,
And Dan.
and today we're going to be talking about a little game we like to play called Injustice 2. Now, what about Injustice 2 are we talking about? Are we talking about the amazing combat or the amazing super finishes that happen, or perhaps some of the great level transitions within that? No, we're going to be talking about black characters who are alternate skins to more popular characters. In that game, there are three alternate skins in particular that I brought up with Dan earlier, and that's Vixen, who is an alternate skin to Cheetah. That is John Stewart, who's an alternate skin to Hal Jordan, and Black Lightning, who is an alternate skin to Raiden. Now,
Yep.
Dan, my question to you is: any of these characters created, if you took any of their skins and created their own independent characters, does it make much of a difference? Like if they were split from their kind of base character, as it were.
I can make an argument for all three of those characters to get their own individual um, player set. The one that stands out the most to me is Vixen. Like watching her gameplay and understanding the core of that character, it makes no sense to me. Like it makes no sense throwing that character on top of Cheetah. Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vixen has the highest claim to her own character because she does actually have a very interesting power set, which is steeped in like African culture, and it's there's a lot of gameplay that can come out of that, like having her. There's a mechanic in the game where you have a special move. If you hit circle, it's a very specific special ability that each character gets, and hers could be swapping animals. So something she can swap to a cheetah to make herself faster, or press the button and swap to an elephant to make herself stronger, or just have different combinations. Because some characters do that, like the Hellboy down DLC. He has an amulet that when you press circle with a different configuration, it does different things. The Vixen can have the exact same thing, but instead, she's kind of hampered where she's just this wrapper on top of Cheetah, and it's very evident, like you said.
I mean, and it's not like the mechanics aren't there already in the game where all you have to do was hit that circle and randomly like you choose another like an animal. Let's face it, because like what you have Gorilla Grodd in there, so that's your gorilla skin right there. So you can literally hit that button and have her crouch down into like a Gorilla Grodd stance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like have that the just repurpose some of those alternate stances for them. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. It's like God knows they do that already with a lot of the characters where they repurpose moves from character to character.
That would
So,
be
yeah,
cool.
so,
I would love to see that level of, and I would assume it's not. I wouldn't say it's super easy to kind of diminish the work, but it would be a lot simpler to do that than something else, I would suppose.
yeah.
But that would be really cool to see a character kind of, you hit that button and they switch a stance, so oh, this is their power stance, and it's been done in games before. Like Mortal Kombat games have done it before.
Yeah, it's like as she's walking around that stand, you literally just like in the comic book when she summons that particular animal trait, the ghost of the animal appears around her for a second, then diminishes. But in the game, once that is summoned, she goes onto the stands, and you have that Gorilla Grodd standing over her. Well, not totally Gorilla Grodd, but like that gorilla stance following her around, like shaped on top of her as she's doing her moves.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, go ahead.
Cheetah, same thing, right? She could summon Cheetah, and they could build a mod on top of that that would have like a particular stance she'd be standing in to fight as that character.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, especially in her finishing move, like the ability to have her summon multiple animals to completely decimate somebody would be really cool. Just thinking off the top of my head, she can, stampede as a rhinoceros and run over the person, and then pick them up, toss them in the air, turn into a bird, fly straight up, and then I don't know, turn into an elephant and then drop on top of them. Just
Yeah, I mean, it's like sorry, cut across you again. Like the more and more I think about this, the more and more I realize it's such a wasted opportunity because there's a fighting stage where they're in a museum, and you have a mammoth, and you have an antelope, and you have all these characters in the background. You can't tell me you can't find a way to incorporate those. Like Mortal Kombat used to do it all the damn time. Like they're inanimate objects, but they find a way to make it's like to bring a dragon or animality into the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can do the same thing. It's made by the same damn company. Let's face it.
Yeah, I agree. The more we talk about it, Vixen is a wasted opportunity because she does open herself to a lot of different move sets and a lot of different special abilities or
And fun mix-ups.
yeah.
Like that's what makes fighting games. Like when you can mix things up and make it fun to watch. She has so much potential. Like it's literally just like bouncing somebody off a wall, activating your special animal ability, and then juggling from that point. That that would look fun as all hell.
Yeah. And I think about the kind of glut of characters that they've put out. It has been fantastic, but some of them I do question, like Raiden and Sub-Zero. You have this very deep bench of DC characters you can possibly use, and you take two Mortal Kombat characters and put them in there. That always confused me. And
It's a way for them to make money because they're throwing in recognizable characters. Like people have that connection to Sub-Zero. People have that connection to Raiden. Like let's face it, the reason I really started playing Injustice 2 and taking it seriously is like, oh shit, Raiden. And the reason I'm sticking with it is like, oh, Ninja Turtles. Like they're going to be dropping that in. I'm curious to see how that's going to go.
yeah,
Because like I said before, like a lot of these added characters are characters that are swapped in with different move sets, right? Taken from other characters.
yeah.
So I'm curious to see that gameplay and how that's gonna work out.
I still think the potential of all four turtles being assigned to different moves, like as you do combos, different turtles will jump out
Mhm.
and do stuff. I assume that's how it's going to work, or I'd be interested to see if that's how it's going to work. And I would
But
assume that Leonardo would be your starter.
yeah, so yeah, yes, I would assume the same thing. Either him or Raphael, depending on like which version they want to shoot for now, because apparently the new cartoon that's coming out, Raphael is going to be the leader. But that's a whole that. But I digress. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, that's Injustice 2. If you're listening, the people of Injustice 2 make that happen. Say give at least in the sequel, give Vixen her due because she can be so fun. Like that concept alone can be so fun.
I wonder if Vixen was in the first Injustice. I can't remember. Let me look.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't. Okay.
No.
Yeah, she opens herself up to some interesting gameplay options. I think I think Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart is a good kind of mix.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to a friend of mine who's a big comic nerd, he only knew about, and this is interesting, he only knew about Green Lantern Jon Stewart. He didn't know anything about Hal Jordan when he was growing up because he grew up on the Justice League cartoon. So he only knew that Jon Stewart was Green Lantern. It wasn't until he started reading comic books he was like, "There's other Green Lanterns," and he goes, "Wait, Hal Jordan is the most popular Green Lantern?"
Mm-hmm.
He was so very confused. He was like, "I've never heard of this guy," which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. It's and with this one as well. Like if he would be the second most like he'd be second in line for that upgrade in terms of like their distinctive personalities, and like the thing with the Green Lanterns are like their power sets are this the power set is essentially the same, but their mind works differently and how they choose to manifest their powers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so Hal Jordan is distinctly different from Jon Stewart, as like Kyle Rayner. Like Kyle Rayner was an illustrator, he's an artist, so a lot of his manifestations were a lot more cartoony, a lot more fun. Hal Jordan just seemed to be like just straightforward,
Guns,
yeah, exactly,
fire
guns,
jets,
yeah, it's like rational. It's like what would be Jon Stewart? Like how would you give Jon Stewart more personality? Because the other thing, like in the Justice League cartoon, like I remember him, he was like very like stoic, very militaristic in the way he presented himself.
All right, let's close this one out with a little talk about Black Lightning and Raiden and how weird that was, at least for me, when I saw that he was Black Lightning was an alternate skin to Raiden, I said, okay, I get it. They both have lightning powers, but I've never seen. Well, let me preface. I've never really seen a whole lot from Black Lightning in general, but I don't believe Raiden's Superman tackle is in his repertoire of moves. It was always, it's very strange to me. And then his Raiden's repurposed kind of finisher and victory pose are both, in my opinion, this is just one man's opinion, but they're lazily converted to Black Panther
Yeah.
to Black Lightning.
No, absolutely.
Right,
The Black Power Fist, the Black Lightning Power Fist, that is so weird to watch.
It's so strange when you see like Raiden's. I keep mispronouncing his name, Raiden. When you see him do his finisher and that dragon face comes down and like grabs the guy and throws him at the floor, you're like, oh, that's cool. But when you see the fist, it looks unfinished, and it doesn't have the same impact. And that victory pose is the same thing. Like when Raiden throws the dragon at the screen, you can't even see through the dragon. You just see the dragon. But the fist, on the other hand, you can see right through it, and you can see Black Lightning in the back. I don't know. It may be that I'm not super up on Black Lightning or interested in that character at all. Or it could be that was just a strange choice on coupling Raiden with a DC character.
I was the most accepting of that because of how little I knew about Black Lightning and how little I still know about Black Lightning. It's like, okay, all right, fine. I was like, I'll accept it. I was excited because, a black character. But then you realize, like, it's just a skin.
It's very much just a skin.
Yeah. And is there a benefit to picking that skin over Raiden himself? Or it's just the look?
I don't think so. I don't particularly like the skin in general. Like, I don't think it's very nice. I don't think that version of that character, which is kind of what the character looks like on the TV show, I have my own issues with. But
we could get into that.
Yeah, I don't particularly like that suit. I don't think it's interesting. I think it looks very much like the Atom from what is that, League Legends of Tomorrow. So that bulky, like Iron Man-ish look is kind of played out for me now, especially since it's not a thing that I believe Black Lightning is known for. Like, he's not known for like building the suit. I think it was just like a jumpsuit, like the Green Lantern suit. So
it looks like a conductor suit. It looks like because in this day and age, because we've come so far along in science and technology, they want this, when you're designing costumes, they want it to have a purpose, right? And I feel as if the Black Lightning suit is like a containment suit, a way for him to properly conduct his powers. Like, that's how they can explain that away. It looks bulky as hell, and just like Iron Man, just like the rest of the Arrowverse, as long as the seasons go on, they can edit the costume, they can make it more efficient. So, I see that as a pilot. It's like just throwing it out there, see how it works, and going from there.
Yeah, if Arrow has taught us anything, is that Green Arrow costume is always in flux. That thing is never nailed down. They've changed that thing at least every season.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Merchandising.
Got to sell toys. Got to sell costumes. And let's face it, Steve Amell could, fill anything out. Dude is buff as hell. And that's our episode for Injustice 2. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit us online at superblack.org. On Twitter, you can hit us up on the website superblack.co. Follow Dan at the Carnival Prince on Instagram. Buy his book. It's out now. It's great, beautiful art, very colorful, very informative, especially if you're a Trinidadian. Get in touch with your roots like he did. Thank you, Dan, for joining me right now.
Thank you, Carl.
That's all we got for you guys today. This has been Super Black. Full stop.
Talk to you later, guys.